that's my gut feel for this, for how to make AI as safe as possible. If the danger with programming morality and with an explicit morality program is what is sometimes referred to as the Waluigi problem. If you create Luigi, you automatically create Waluigi by inverting Luigi.
Sure.
Um, so um, so I think we have to be careful about programming and, sort of an arbitrary morality. But if we focus on maximizing truth with acknowledged error, that's probably, I think that's the way to maximize safety, um, and also to have the AI be curious, because I think that, Earth is much more interesting to an advanced AI with humans on it than without humans.
I agree with you. Now, a interesting question of: do you think with vast intelligence comes significant empathy and respect for life?
Yeah, I think so.
Because that's the hope at the end of the rainbow here. That I don't want to use the word AGI. I'll use a digital superintelligence as a term. With a digital superintelligence that is able to be more benevolent and support us, because sometimes I'm not sure us squishy meat sacks can make it through our own horseshit problems that we put together. So maybe there's a value there. I think on the whole, AI is the single most important technology we ever invented, and it is going to uplift all of humanity. I think it's what you said. After post AGI comes abundance. I think it's the interim issues in the next 1 to 4 years. Right? It's not artificial intelligence; it's human stupidity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one way that AI could go wrong is if the extinctionist philosophy is programmed into the AI, whether, whether implicitly or explicitly. I mean, probably not explicitly, but there's a strong danger of an implicit extinctionist philosophy being programmed into AI. And
What would that look like?
like,
What would that look like?
well, like there's this guy on the front page of the New York Times, I think about a year ago. He's head of the Extinctionist Society, and he was literally quoted as, "There are 8 billion people on Earth. It would be better if there were none."
Oh my God.
And yeah, so uh, and if you take the extreme environmentalist argument, especially like the implicit extreme environmentalist argument, there's an implicit conclusion that humans are a plague on the surface of the Earth. So I think we have to be quite careful about an implicit, like if the extinctionist movement was somehow programmed into AI as the optimization, that would be obviously extremely dangerous.
Yeah, to say the least. Um,
Yeah. It's, and but there are people, quite a few people actually, who view humanity as a blight on the surface of the
yeah,
earth.
and we are coming down to, there is the accelerationist movement, the decelerationist movement, the boomers and the doomers. But I think people forget to realize, or don't realize and forget the fact that we romanticize the past, and the past life was short, brutish, and you were dead by 40. The life that we enjoy today is a result of the extraordinary technology that we brought to bear.
Yeah. So Hobbes, life is nasty, brutish, and
Yeah.
short. Um, I actually I had a little Yorkshire Terrier once, who was nasty, brutish, and short, and kept biting people. So I called him Hobbs.
Perfect.
I would tell friends that came over, watch out for the dog. And they'd look at this miniature Yorkshire Terrier and laugh, and then he would then bite them on the ankle. And I said, "Watch out!" I said, "Watch out for the dog."
That extinctionist meme is the same sort of, you discount it until it starts being a mind virus, in part, as you've called it, and it starts disrupting us.
Yeah. Um, if you convince people that, you know, we're running out of resources on Earth, that there are too many people in the world, and the only way to survive is to have far fewer people, which a lot of people are believed to be the case. And like I said, if that somehow gets programmed into AI, and that AI becomes the most powerful AI, then we're in deep trouble.
Uh, yeah, we need a counterforce to the population bomb. I mean, what an extraordinary disservice to humanity.
Yeah,
That
Ehrlich's book was terrible, nightmare.
uh,
Maybe the most anti-human book ever written.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The But give people hope on the flip side here. Those who are saying, again, going back to, I don't want to bring up my children, because I hear this all the time, and I'm sure you do too, in an age where AI is going to destroy us. So, um, short-term problems, long-term problems, short-term solutions, long-term solutions. You said make it curious, make it maximum truth-seeking, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to say that we're going to have issues in the short term and we're going to have to deal with them? Or do you?
There won't be. There will be some issues. I mean, essentially, at this point, no way to stop AI. It is accelerating whether people like it or not. I mean, that's why, together with a number of really smart people, we created XAI,
Sure.
and hopefully, some really small humans will continue to join XAI and build what is intended to be a maximally truth-seeking and maximally curious AI. Anyway, I think that's really important. Um, so
Elon, listen, on behalf of those of us, and I think everybody here listening who are pro humanity and pro uplifting humanity, and making us a multiplanetary species and living a longer, healthier life. And the one place I disagreed with you on X is on having people live longer. People don't need to die for there to be new ideas. That the CEO of Ford and GM didn't have to die for Tesla to come into existence. So uh, we're
yeah,
I want to just say thank you for all that you're doing and setting a model for other industrialists and entrepreneurs out there to take on and solve big, huge problems.
well, thank you. Um, I would encourage people to be optimistic about the future. Um, like err on the side of optimism. You will be happier for it. Um, and as you pointed out, probably live longer. So, and I'm not totally against life extension. I think you know we want to be. I don't think we want to necessarily have people live forever. Or live for a very long, like thousands of years. That I think that would potentially lead to ossification of society. It would I think lead to ossification
Sure.
of society. Um, but I mean, solving dementia and um, curing cancer, I think, are good things, obviously. Um, so, so I'm not sure we're actually that far apart on the life extension thing. Um, I think we're probably mostly in agreement. I think, yeah, we just don't want to have like, can you live for like, do you want Kim Jong Un living for 1,000 years?
No, but
I mean, probably
I'd
not.
like Elon Musk and Peter Diamandis living for 150 years, and a few other
Yeah,
thousand amazing entrepreneurs out there.
sure. Um, so there is a challenge that, like, a lot of people, they really never change their mind; they just die. And this is actually, I'm not sure who originally said this, but even in physics,
Yes.
which is extremely rigorous, that you know, that physics in a lot of cases has advanced one death at a time.
Yeah, my friend Brian Keating, who's a astrophysicist, reminded me of that, and maybe it was true, but in this world of entrepreneurship, I think we do live in a meritocracy to a large degree, and the best ideas can bubble up to the top faster than ever before, especially with AI now, where you can build companies, extraordinary companies with a couple of people and a lot of tech. So
Yeah.
I have one last question, and then I know it's dinner time there. The future of XAI. What's your vision there, pal?
Well, as I was saying, I think the path to AI safety is to build an AI that is maximally truth-seeking, with acknowledged error, that is maximally curious, and I think that that is most likely to lead to a good outcome for humanity, because we are much more interesting than not humanity.
Mm.
Obviously, I'm a big fan of Mars, but Mars is much less interesting because there is no human civilization there. And if you take humans, for example, we could hunt down all of the chimpanzees and kill them, but we don't. And in fact, we make efforts to preserve their habitats. Um, we would so anyway. I think that is the path to a great future, and a maximally positive AI is to be rigorously truth-seeking, always acknowledging some amount of error, and maximally curious. Um, that's the goal of XAI is, and the company motto is understand the universe.
Uh,
And
that's a good mission, and one that's going to take a bit of time. I can't wait till the first AI is able to come up with new theories of physics and
yeah,
new innovations. That's going to be. I mean, I don't think that's far away, and I think that's going to be one of the most awesome times ever to be alive.
true. Like we definitely live in the most interesting times, and I actually for a while I was kind of depressed about AI, but then I kind of got fatalistic about it and said, like, well, even if AI was gonna end all humanity, would I prefer to be around to see it or not? I guess I would prefer to be around to see it, um, just out of curiosity. But I mean, obviously, hopefully, AI is extremely beneficial to humanity. But the thing that sort of reconciled me to be less anxious about it was to say, well, I guess even if it was apocalyptic, I'd still be curious to see the. It's like, I'll be curious to see it.
I remember I was at your birthday party at one of your homes here in LA before you sold them. And Larry Page was there, and Sergey was
Oh
there, and
yeah,
we were having a conversation about living in a simulation. And the notion was, we're in the 99th level of the gameplay, and this has got to be a simulation because you couldn't. Why would it be alive right now in this single most interesting time? And then the only comment was, "Don't poke the simulation, or it'll end." Yeah.
yeah. Well, if we are in a simulation, the way to keep the simulation going is to keep being interesting. So, like humans run lots of computer simulations because we don't know what the outcome's going to be, and we're curious to see. We'll run lots of simulations, like Tesla will run crash simulations, and SpaceX will run, rocket flight simulations, and we only stop doing the simulations when the outcome is extremely predictable and boring.
Yes.
So if we're in some
that's
alien
a
computer,
great argument. That is perfect. right? When it's
Yeah.
absolutely known, if we're not entertaining enough to the digital gods or the universe gods, they'll end the sim.
Yeah. We just need to make sure we have keep the ratings up. Um,
Yeah.
but this is why I think like one of the ways to predict the future is that the most entertaining outcome is the most likely, as seen by a third party, as though we were in an alien soap opera.
I love that.
Yeah, like so, it's not necessarily good for those in the soap opera. Like you could be watching a World War I movie and seeing people get blown up,
Yeah.
um, and you're just eating popcorn and drinking a soda. Um, but we're in the movie. Um,
Yeah. Well, let's not get
so
dystopian
yeah.
here, because I think we can have a really positive outcome of a lot of other cool stuff. Um, yeah, for sure.
I think the most likely outcome is positive.
And I think if and I think that's partly a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't believe so, if you believe it's going to be a dystopian outcome, then you're going to be back on your heels, protecting yourself, not investing in the future, and it unravels. And this
Yeah.
and and so I think the message of this entire space is this is the most extraordinary time to be alive, the most exciting time to be alive, a time where you know a lot of individuals listening on the spaces has more power than kings or queens or heads of nations had just a few decades ago. And it doesn't take a government or a large corporation to solve a problem anymore. An entrepreneur with a few H100s can do a good job.
Yeah, I think we should err on the side of optimism. Um, we should err on the side of optimism, and we should have kids. Um, like to err is human.
and to
HEIR.
and to reproduce as human. All right, buddy. Listen, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. All right. Thanks, Peter.
Take
Bye.
care, buddy. Bye.